we should be in a position where you why can't the experts say we know that this virus is in fact it's going to be, or excuse me, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved but permanently approved.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes you have to hit the TV in order to make them unstuck again.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. We will begin today's auction with the exquisite piece from Hunter Biden, the president's virtuoso son, with his masterpiece entitled Crackhead Playing Tetris.
Going once, going twice, and sold to the Ukrainian gentleman for $500,000. Congratulations. Check it out, snakes on a plane. Actually, it's snakes on a private plane. These are Texas Senate Democrats. They seem to be fleeing to stop a bill for voter ID, but it seems now that their real purpose was to spread COVID everywhere. While butchering, we shall overcome.
We will overcome. We will overcome. We will overcome.
We will overcome. We will overcome. Oof. They're supposed to be arrested, and if you sing like this, I think you should be. It's assault and battery on your ears. The media so wants to flip Texas to the Democrats, and if Californians keep on fleeing to it, it definitely might. Texas might have to put up 2 walls before this is all over. I just got great news. Stacey Abrams was nominated for an Emmy. Whew. I am so happy about it. All these Democrats win awards. Governor Cuomo won his Emmy. I gotta be honest, I don't see how Stacey Abrams deserves an Emmy. Unlike Cuomo, she didn't kill anybody, so I don't see how she's qualified. Jen Psaki, the Biden press secretary, said they tell Facebook what posts are disinformation. Isn't that great that the government's reading your posts? It's like getting a friend request from them. Or maybe it's a big brother request, I don't know. The rules of free expression seem to be a little bit more limited for the right. You can post pictures of pets, vacation landscapes, and meals. But don't worry, you're still allowed to have different political opinions. You can express support either for Biden or Harris. So there you go. Given all this, it wasn't shocking that when asked about the Cubans protesting, Psaki couldn't condemn communism.
Do you think that people are leaving Cuba because they don't like communism?
They are opposed to the oppression, to the mismanagement of the government in the country.
And the White House written statement was just as hazy. You think that's an accident? Why so reluctant? Because communist sympathizers are a good chunk of the Democrat base.
People were going to rise up in rebellion against Fidel Castro. They had forgot that he educated their kids, gave them health care, totally transformed the society.
Hammer and Sickle Psaki wasn't going to blame communism for the Cuban misery on the first pass. Hell, they're probably gearing up to send Fauci there to explain to the Cubans that lockdowns of all sorts are beneficial, and they don't know how good they've got it. It'll be just like Hong Kong. I'm sure LeBron James will say that we shouldn't just side with the Cuban people. We need to get more educated on it.
But I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand.
Look at BLM, founded by lesbian Marxists. They certainly won't condemn Cuba. When Fidel Castro died, BLM tweeted, "Rest in power." Kind of strange considering how Castro and Che Guevara treated homosexuals. Oh well. You have the creator of critical race theory praising Cuba as a model for curing inequality. Yes, everyone is equally in squalor.
It's not about the facts of history.
There's around 30% of black or black mixed population in Cuba. But the message from the left is American police bad, Cuban police state good. There's no push to save the Cubans, who are genuine asylum seekers, because they despise socialism. Socialists would rather have their utopian fantasies as opposed to listening to the people who actually lived it. Do black Cubans matter? Not to Marxists. We recently learned that when Brian Stelter is confronted with hard reality, he channels Kamala Harris.
So you are one of the reasons people can't stand the media. I'm sorry.
You're cracking me up.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't.
Congressperson Cori Bush once used the term black birthing people, and regular English-speaking people were puzzled. Did she mean mothers? So when Mother's Day came around, people on the right would joke, "Happy Birthing Person's Day." The response to this was, "The right is falsely claiming that Democrats want to get rid of Mother's Day." And Snopes came out and said that it was false. Well, that was a gaslighting technique. It was setting up a straw man argument. I'm sorry, I meant it was setting up a straw birthing person's argument. Whether Democrats are specifically trying to get rid of Mother's Day really isn't the issue. The issue is that you want the world to swap out our language and our thinking and force them to use your language and thinking. And now we have more proof of that. Here's the new Apple iPhone emoji. A pregnant man. No, It's not just the premise for a horrible Arnold Schwarzenegger movie anymore. To be clear, I don't care if a guy chooses to do this. The problem is that normalizing abnormal is the new normal. If I say that this is f***ing weird, that doesn't make me a hateful, hating hate monger full of phobia. It was recently Shark Week and Australian scientists want to rename shark attacks as negative encounters. Okay, why not disappointing dismemberment? Unpleasant incident? Unfortunate happenings? Do we have to use their pronouns too? What the hell's going on when death by shark gets described with customer service terminology? The negative encounter that's going on is on language. It's an attack. You might shrug and say, oh well, that's silly, where to me, it's exactly the kind of thing you shouldn't shrug about. Shrugging kind of suggests, well, what are you gonna do? Better play ball. It's true that people have demonized and slaughtered a bunch of sharks, so scientists want to do something about that. But this is insane. This rebranding is exactly what the left does. Make things more vague and nicer sounding. Soft and cozy euphemisms, as you've tried to figure out what exactly the reality of the situation is. If you can do this with a shark bite, you can do this with anything. The fact that this is being spearheaded by scientists also says a lot about the situation, doesn't it? This shows that science can be co-opted by politics, and science is often used as a cudgel against the right. Don't question the science. They are the pristine truth seekers, objective and agenda-free, highly intelligent and logical and filled with experty sciencey goodness. Yeah, you shouldn't buy that idea anymore. Speaking of agenda-driven science, there's Dr. Fauci. Fauci got into it dramatically with Rand Paul. Look at his left hand. It looks like he wants to make a confession. For those of you who are into classic movies, look at the way he's working that rubber band. It reminds me of Humphrey Bogart with the marbles in the K Mutiny.
Totally resent that. And if anybody is lying here, Senator, it is you.
Or maybe this is more like A Few Good Men.
Did the job. Did you order the code red?
You're goddamn right I did.
There's a lot to unpack as to why Fauci's a liar, but one of Fauci's pet experts, a virologist himself, Christian Anderson, sent Fauci an email on January 31st, 2020. January 31st, 2020, when this all started, where he wrote, "Some of the features of the virus looks engineered and the genome is inconsistent with evolutionary theory." The very next day, Fauci called a secret meeting with 11 virologists and no government officials. No one knows what was said in that meeting, but 4 days later, the same Christian Anderson said the lab leak theory was a crackpot theory and demonstrably false. He didn't mention that he himself was a former crackpot.
Science has, in many ways, helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
So now Fauci's doing all he can with rehearsed outrage to distance himself from gain-of-function research. But don't worry, I smell a rebranding opportunity. We'll take a page from the sharks. It's no longer gain-of-function research. From now on, it's a laboratory negative encounter. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please be sure to go to my new channel, Jokes in a Point. Like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, comment, and I should be back soon. Take care.